Well, good evening, everybody. I hope everybody can hear me okay. It's been a while. I apologize for the absence, and that's what I'm going to talk about right now is the reason for that absence. Uh, just basically life in general, and there's been a few things happening behind the scenes, I guess you could say. Maybe some restructuring. Um, some changes are going to come to the open mic. An example of those changes would be if any of you were there last week. I don't remember what day it was exactly, but we had Naysay on in one of the open chat rooms, and we talked for probably, I don't know, over an hour, I think. And so whoever was in Discord at the time got to sit in on that conversation, and it was a pretty good conversation, I have to admit. So, one of the changes coming soon to the open mic nearest you in KBS Discord is that there's going to be impromptu interviews, I guess you could call them, or phone calls, where if you just happen to be at the right place at the right time when these phone calls happen, you could be in the same room and listen. That being said, there's some things I want to point out for people that use Discord that maybe not necessarily as tech savvy as the rest of us, and I think it's worth pointing out. It'll probably help a lot of people. So when you're in Discord, and I'm speaking specifically from a laptop perspective, when you're in Discord, at the bottom left corner of your screen, you're going to see your name and your, picture if you put one there. And you're going to see three little icons. One's a microphone, one's headphones, and one's like a cog or a gear. And that's the settings button. In order for a Discord conversation to sort of progress smoothly and that kind of thing, obviously we can't have everybody with a hot mic that's in the room, right? So, potentially, hopefully, we'll get up to over 20 people listening. They all can't speak at the same time. And so, I'm assuming one of the jobs as an administrator, or maybe even as a moderator, depending on how we can get this Discord thing to work in the future, is to make sure that people's mics aren't turned on accidentally. Now, I can do that from here. But if you would be mindful of your mute button, especially if you're not going to be participating in the conversation, it's always a good idea to keep your mute button clicked on, so you're always muted. And that's just a general sort of, I guess, etiquette would be a good way to put it. So if you know you're going to be talking on an open mic with myself or anybody else for that matter, just be aware that button, it turns your mic on and off, and it's always good to keep it off unless you have something to say. Now, if you're going to be speaking with me, you can keep it off the whole time we're speaking, but just be aware that you need to turn it back on to mute when we're done. You don't need to, I can do it, but it just helps me out, and I'm pretty sure it helps out everybody else. It's just a thing I thought I would point out. Another thing I wanted to address is, in the previous KBS open mic discords, I was given, I will say, what we call guidance. I am no longer receiving said guidance anymore, so I am on my own. So that being said, there's a bit of a learning curve. As opposed in regards to like how to format a show. And my idea, I think, moving forward is to just do away with format entirely. I don't want to stick to specific topics. I don't want to stick to, themes or anything like that unless they're planned out ahead of time. What I would like to do, and what I think this whole thing is supposed to be for, is so that our community in KBS can get to know one another, whether it's through open mic or through, private chats or whatever. And also, one of the original ideas that I supported with this whole idea was that people who are, say, a little bit stage frightened to call Kev Baker on one of his shows when he does open the phones can use this platform as sort of a practice run, I guess, to build up, because I get it. It's really intimidating to call somebody and there's like potentially thousands, maybe even tens of thousands, who knows, of people listening, because there's, especially on a TFR show, there's people listening on iHeartRadio, there's people listening on TFR directly, there's people listening all over the place. So it can be really frightening. So the open mic is, I would hope, is a way more sort of less structured, more comfortable way to sort of get your feet wet if you've never called into a show or done live radio or anything like that. This is a really good place to get your feet wet. I promise I won't bite ya. I'm really good at talking to people about pretty much anything you really, really want to talk about. Which is, I guess, sort of a little bit segueing into the next thing I wanted to say, which was that I was supposed to have Scotty on the show today, but life happens to Scotty sometimes, and we all have our obligations and priorities, and I let him know that we would be happy to book him on at a later date, no problem, which got me thinking that maybe I should get used to the idea that one day I'm going to have to do a show here, maybe on my own at a last-minute sort of notice, which, to be quite honest, is terrifying, because I've never even thought that until today, because there's always people in KBS Discord to talk to. Thankfully, I do have a couple of people that I can talk to today. They're both in the chat room. I'll just shout out the chat room. There's not that many of us here, but thank you for coming. Rorschach, Jose, Jules, Leslie, Luna, and Nanette. Thanks for dropping in. Yeah, I guess that being said, stay tuned for spontaneous phone call interviews and a wide variety of topics. I don't think that we need to stick to the topic necessarily of woo even, because Mr. Kev Baker covers that for us already. So if there's something that you don't even consider to be woo, I'm more than willing to talk about it. In fact, I'm actually working on a show with Felicia, Algorithm's co-host, and I want to do the whole show on solar power for, dummies, basically. I want her to dumb it down so that an idiot like me who knows nothing about solar power can sort of wrap my head around what the essentials are. I'm just going to pick what I think's important and what I think you guys are going to want to hear, and I feel like I know most of you in the KBS chat fairly well enough that I could probably be able to pick topics that are, going to at least inform or entertain most, if not all of you. That also being said, I do realize that I cannot please everybody, and I won't say any more on that, just that I don't think it's my responsibility to please everybody, but I obviously can't please everybody. So, with all that out of the way, we should be expecting regular Sunday open mics from now on. I do have a guest booked for next week. I will probably have a guest booked for the week after. And I'll give a shout out to Luna, because I talked to her. Her show actually, unfortunately, got canceled yesterday as well for a similar reason. And but Luna's got guests lined up for weeks, and I'm like, I'm not even 2 or 3 weeks ahead. So she's inspired me to get sort of, things a little bit more organized, because I was relying on other people to do it before now, I guess you could say. So now that I've got all that off my chest, and thanks for letting me do so, soon after my Scotty guest canceled today, one Rorschach was in the chat room, and he was mentioning that he thinks he might be a little bit way out there. And I know Rorschach's a little bit newer, I guess, to the KBS community. I mean, he's not new, but he's still a little bit newer than some of us in the chat. And he tried to send me a warning that, or I don't know if it was a warning or just a cautionary comment, saying that he's way out there. And it kind of made me chuckle a little bit because I think everybody in here is kind of all way out there. And so I'm interested to hear what Rorschach has to say. And Rorschach, if you're ready, you can unmute and join me in the open mic. Welcome to open mic, Rorschach. Yeah, you just have to unmute your mic. It might be different actually on a cell phone, and I didn't consider that explanation. So I have my cell phone right here. I will open up Discord and see where the mute mic button is, because from my end, Rorschach, you're already unmuted. Ooh, maybe? No. I think he left. Maybe he's going to try to come back. We'll give him a few seconds. And does anybody know any good jokes? How about those football teams and stuff? Rorschach is actually typing a message in chat as we speak. So I'm still trying to figure out how to do that on a phone. I can't do it. Leslie, you know how to do it, don't you? On a phone, how to unmute your mic? Okay, well, you know what? That's okay. Technical difficulties, they happen to everybody. I'll tell you a story about what happened today, and this is why we started at 10 to 6. I usually start at 5. But for some reason, Discord sent an update that didn't quite work. I guess I had to uninstall Discord and then reinstall it just to get Discord to open. So I'm not sure what's going on there. There's a few people that I see usually here every day that I haven't seen all day. So it might be an issue that's bigger than I expected. But while we wait for... Oh, okay. I guess we're maybe not gonna get Rorschach on, but that's okay. Jules, did you wanna jump in and have something to say just before I? Oh, hang on. Nope. Okay. Give me 2 more seconds. I think he's trying again. These are the technicalities of Discord live radio. It's not just like, you call in somewhere and stuff works. It's kind of a learning curve just to get it to work, which is cool, because once you get it to work, you can get it to work the next time as well. Also, since it took me so long to get my Discord up and running, I'm probably not going to be doing as long of a show, obviously, because I don't ever want these open mic shows to overlap with what Kev Baker's doing. I guess I'll take this opportunity to thank Kev Baker for allowing the open mic to happen and giving everybody a place to speak their mind to like-minded people, because a lot of people can't talk about these sort of things with their family or friends without being ostracized or ridiculed. So this is kind of a good sanctuary for that kind of a thing, and I think its value is understated immensely, because there's some people out there that need this kind of stuff, not because the information necessarily is true, or a lot of times it's very speculative information. It's a lot of theories. Nothing can be really proven, but it's just a place where you can talk about it and not be called a freak or an idiot or like you're crazy or yeah, I haven't had any encounters here in Discord with people who are, they're not afraid to disagree, but they don't disagree in a manner that is demeaning or condescending. So that, I think that's valuable. That's going to be more valuable, assuming the internet stays around. Because if the internet goes down, I don't know what we're going to do. So I guess what we could do is, Jules, if you want to come on for a couple of minutes and say something and chat about whatever you like, I'm thinking we could go till like 6:30 without being too much of an impedance on the time it takes me to eat before Warrior Mode, which I will be there, and I hope you all will be there too. Warrior Mode, Kev Baker with Bill Bean. I am not personally a religious man, but I really do look forward to his shows with Bill Bean, especially lately, because they get guests on. They go into a lot more woo than they used to, and they always tie it back into the scriptures, and I appreciate that. It's just it's a harmless, good vibes show. And you can take a lot away from it if you want to, if you're just not so prejudiced about religion. Which I used to be, actually. I used to be one of those guys, like, oh, you believe in God? I am totally not like that anymore. I'm not saying I believe in the word God. That word is, a whole other show probably on itself. But the concept, I think, is real. And it a lot of times, if you just think something's real, it can have a profound effect on the rest of your perceptions, which could be a tool, in my opinion. That's a valuable tool. Okay, so, okay, I'm pretty sure, hang on, my bad, Jules, are you there? You should be able to unmute now. I'm going through a lot of people's profiles, and they've been server muted. Now, I don't know necessarily what that means, but everyone that I come across that I can click on their profile menu, I'm unclicking the server mute box, because in my head, I feel like if somebody accidentally comes into the open mic room with a hot mic, I can just click on them and mute them from here. So I don't need to really have people indefinitely muted all the time. I'm not sure if you have to actually exit the room and then come back in for the server mute to take effect. If you, what it usually says, at least on the laptop version, is if you don't have permission to speak, it should say that you don't have permission to speak. And from what I'm looking at, Jules, it seems like you have permission to speak, but I might be missing something. I mean, I didn't used to take care of this kind of stuff until now. Haven't really been given a ton of guidance on it either, so I'm just trying to figure it out as I go along. But we had a cool conversation. Maybe I'll talk about this for a sec. This is really cool, and another reason why people should join KBS Discord and keep an eye on it once in a while, because we had a whole group of people in one of the open rooms for a chat, and the amount of laughter that was had there was amazing. I think we had Connie there, Luna was there, Nanette was there, Comet Man was there, I was there, drinks were had for sure, and it was just a really good time. Nothing serious that we talked about, really, I don't think. It was mostly laughs, and it was just a really good hangout. So that's another reason why the KBS Discord is kind of cool, because, if you're ever just bored and you just click on Discord and see what's going on, you never know, there might be a room open with a bunch of people shooting the shit. And if all of us are as cool as I think we are, we don't ever have boring conversations, if you know what that means. It's always going to be ignited with some kind of woo or some kind of laughter. Everybody has a great sense of humor and a lot of awesome sounding laughter as well. And still, oh, see, that's so weird. So when Jules came back in, the server mute button was clicked again. So I don't get that. Try going in and out again, Jules. This is now an experimental broadcast trying to figure out the ins and outs of Discord without instructions. I suppose I could have Googled this, but I was too busy trying to reinstall Discord. There's also a lot of times a delay. I've noticed that when I make a change from my end on my microphone, that it's sometimes a 5 or 6 second delay for the actual effect to take place. So there's that too. Maybe it's just not a good time, like astrologically speaking, to try to do podcasts or live broadcasts. Okay. Yeah, it still says server mute. That's so weird. I keep unchecking the box. Maybe I gotta do that. Okay, let's try that. Oh, there you go. You're unmuted now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Hello?
Hi. You're coming through loud.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Oh, wow, because I can't hear anything on my end, so yay! That means I don't have to hear myself talk.
Yeah, it's taken... Okay, that was actually something that I had to do. But thanks for teaching me how to do that.
No, it's a learning curve for everybody.
Yeah, okay, so first...
you had brought up... Okay, go ahead.
I just wanted to apologize to Rorschach. I could have got him to work too, but I just wanted him to know that next Sunday... or the Sunday after that, if he wants to come on, or if he wants to come on in one of these like spontaneous ones to do like whatever he wants to talk about, because I'm interested in what he has to talk about. Because if someone says they're out there to me, I'm like, okay, I'm out there already.
Oh, I am too, kid.
Right? So like, how
way
out
out
there
there people are my kind of people.
Exactly. So Rorschach.
So if Rorschach wants to come on now, I'm cool with that.
He probably could, you know. Are you into doing that, Rorschach? Just type a quick message in the chat if you want to jump in. I can do that now, because now I just learned how to do it. That's why. So you should be able to unmute now if you're not still muted. Yeah, no, you should be good.
Hello.
There you go. See, it wasn't you.
Hello, yous.
It wasn't you.
No, I had to grab my headset low.
Love the accent.
Yeah, I've got a headset on too.
Yeah. How are yous? It's alright.
Yeah, really good here. How are you doing? Really good here.
No bad. In Glasgow, like Kev.
Well, we got about 15 minutes to do whatever we want, I guess. It's good to hear your voice finally, Rorschach.
No problem. And yous, got to say, it's nice to hear a voice instead of texting. Yeah, but you want to hear a bit of where from my side.
An American, a Canadian, and a Scotsman all joined in on the Discord.
Yeah, what could happen? End of the world.
That's hilarious.
Well, the World Cup is ending, so it's appropriate.
Yeah.
Sounds like the beginning of one of those jokes.
Aye, we all walk into a pub. What could happen?
Yeah, that's kind of where I was going.
So, the pirate, he's got a wooden leg, puts it in the fridge. What happens to his wooden leg? Shiver me timbers.
Nice one. Okay, Rorschach.
And I have to say, I do like pirates.
Me too.
Rorschach, I wanted you to give us
flag.
a wee primer as to some of the out there things that maybe you'd want to talk to me about at a future show.
Oh,
Like
5G.
Like a teaser.
go.
Yeah, okay, we could do 5G. Yeah.
Right. So, 5G and robots and spirits. Right? Put them all together. You've got PCs hooked up to everybody you know. Right? So, I'm going time, space at the same time. Because if they can think faster than humans, as they are now, their spirit's already started, and it's feeding back. So it's causing a time loop. So see when we're seeing like shadows and stuff, you get me?
Yeah.
What if that's their spirit coming back here to look at us to lead us on? And same way what do you call it? The satellite that's been around for years.
Oh, the Dark Knight
Tesla
satellite?
noticed it. Dark Knight satellite. What if that's ours? And it's spitting out messages to humans on how to build AI, so to say. Get me, man?
Yeah, that's a cool idea. Like, what if that satellite's like the oldest satellite up there? It's been there for thousands of years, maybe.
Yeah, mate, what if the ancients already knew all this?
Yeah.
They spat it up there before the war.
Oh, I like what you're thinking, man.
No,
Yeah, we
the
could do a
War of
whole
the
show on
Gods.
this.
Yeah, it's weird. I've been going about this idea for ages in my head, and how the ancients would have been able to cut stone and burrow through stone and carve away at stone in the way they did. And the way I can perceive it is through laser technology and cutting tools we have today.
Well,
No.
I heard they could actually change the state of stone into a liquid to make it more pliable, using like frequencies and sounds like 5G type stuff.
Yeah, something like that, aye. But I wouldn't say it's the 5G. I'd say 5G's a precursor to anything. I'd say it's a precursor, because we're all talking about a change in the day and age, and how there is a change, and you can see it. You can see something's happening.
Let me ask you if you ever heard of a guy named Matt Landman?
No.
You should maybe check him out. He does a lot of good stuff about 5G. He's an activist. I like what he's doing.
I'm not an activist about it. I just think there's something funny about it, and I just think there's something funny about AI in general. I mean, you look at Boston Dynamics; they're already working on bodies, but that's what we're just seeing now. They maybe are 50 years ahead of us. Like the Jetsons.
Yeah, 50-year buffer.
Maybe they are living on a planet. Maybe they are living on a planet like Mars or somewhere livable, and it's like 50 years. It's like Jetsons. They're all running about in me Zoom cars and all that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, they've probably got better weed by now too.
Yeah, weed's a good thing. Well,
Jules knows a thing or two about.
mute me up and someone else can carry on.
Sorry?
Feel free to mute me up or you want.
Oh no.
Carry on. I'm smoking.
No, this is what we do.
Yeah.
We
I
just
just thought I thought I would start a path the way I think anyway.
Well, you're gonna not be able to get into everything about that, but when I book you on for, if you want to do a full hour on 5G, we could totally do it.
Yeah, okay. I was just thinking that when Rorschach was talking, it's like if all of the technology, 5G, is military technology, and we don't get to experience a military technology for generations down, how do we know what they've got cooking right now?
Right, well, take it this way. I think they've already got Space Marines up there. Some sort of bio-enhanced human like creature up there. NASA had a pod up there for like a year, maybe 5 years before I knew about it, and then they landed this thing, and I had never known about it, but it was like a wee small white craft, and it was supposed to be the new type of thing for being up there, but it was militarized, and it looked like it could fit a man inside it, basically. There was pictures of it on YouTube and all that. They were all talking about it landing on the secure team and all that. He was talking about this thing coming and landing. It was.
I'm in your camp on that.
It was like a
I
small
moved here from Virginia. I moved here to Virginia from Florida, and on the Space Coast is Kennedy Space Center. I've taken the whole nerd on trip. I took the space shuttle trip where they actually drive by the UAV building, where it's a 8-story building where they house the space shuttle upside down, and you take it on the track where they take it to the crawl. It moves 2 miles an hour. It takes 2 weeks to get from storage to the launch pad. But inside the Space Center, they have little exhibits and stuff, and they had one that was completely unlabeled. Nobody knew what it was, but it was there in plain sight.
Yeah, it was definite. I'll go and get the images, and I'll post it onto the general chat somewhere. For this wee vehicle that I'm on about that was up there. It could have even housed weapons on it for all we know, but it was up there for a while, and they were supposedly testing that out, but I still think there's something funny about it, the way they're all how do you pronounce it, compartmentalized, you know how they chop it up into different sections?
Yeah, compartmentalized, yeah.
Compartmentalized. That's the word I'm looking for, sorry, bit tongue twisted with that one, but...
Well, you'd be tongue twisted with anything with an accent like that.
Yeah.
I'm not speaking for everybody on the KBS Discord, but I would love to hear Rorschach come on and go more on this.
Yeah, I think we're going to book Rorschach in for a show for sure.
Yeah, I'm trying to rush it.
Don't rush it. Save it for the show.
Break it down more. I mean, there you go. Jetsons in general. That cartoon was that was one of the first cartoons I recognised, and I thought we'd all be running about in wee cars by now, right?
Yeah, the Jetsons were the Flintstones in the future.
Right, that's what I mean, right? So they brought this cartoon out, and it got my head set thinking right away, because I loved the cartoon, and I thought we'd be like living in big metropolis cities by now, right? But what if back then they just broke off, totally left us to just feed them resources and all that, and the rich did go away and build that wee metropolis that we're all dreaming about here?
Yeah, like maybe south of the Antarctic barrier or whatever, that treaty that you can't go past the 30th parallel. Maybe they built something down there.
Exactly. You know?
Yeah, I'd entertain all those ideas.
How we're not chasing these wee things about and all that we're seeing in our skies? They're leaving us 50 years behind, and now they've hit us with this COVID, a biological weapon to dim us down and kill us all. Cool.
Oh, we can get into COVID too when you come on the show. I bet you got some cool perspectives on that.
Rorschach!
Thank you. I don the mask for a reason.
Yeah, I don the mask for a reason now too, and I used to be an anti-masker, but now I don the mask to hide from the masses.
That's it.
I don't want them. I don't want them to know.
Go Rorschach on them.
Oh, that would be a cool mask too, eh? If you could get the Rorschach mask to work like the way it did in the movie, that would be amazing. And they do have fabric that does that too. Remember back in the 80s, they used to have those heat fabric T-shirts.
Heat fabric, that's it.
Yeah.
Hypercolor. I used to have a pink one.
All they did was just make it obvious that you were sweating.
That's true.
Okay. Well, we're running out of time for me, at least comfortably, so that we're not infringing on my ability to get some food in front of me before the warrior mode starts. So, what a great way to have a sort of second half of a short show. Thank you, Rorschach, for coming on. Thanks, Jules, for coming on.
No problem.
And we will definitely be booking Rorschach on for a full hour at least. What I'll probably do in the future is we'll say tentatively an hour.
Man, I'm a full-time dad too, so it's like.
Yeah. We can work around your schedule even. It doesn't always have to be on Sundays anymore.
Yeah, it's fine with me.
Right. So what I'm thinking is, as long as we're not overlapping with any of Kev Baker's shows, which I would never want to do anyways, then it doesn't matter what day we do it.
Yeah, Kev's a sound guy.
Yeah, and he's not sent any messages to me saying stop or doing anything, and it's not like I've asked him. But what I've always say is he's probably too busy to answer those kind of questions, and it's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission.
Yeah, the only one that can grant his forgiveness is the so-called man that we're going to meet.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. Brilliant.
All right, guys, it's been fun. I love each and every one of you. Stay bright.
Much love, Bright. Stay bright back.
And you, bid you adieu.
We'll talk to you very soon, Rorschach. And pay attention to your DMs. I'll be sending you a message quite soon.
Okay.
All right.
I'll add you as a friend on it, and then.
Yeah, cheers.
Get holidays, right? Yeah. No problem, man.
Awesome, mate.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.
See you later.
And with that, I would love to just wish everybody a happy Sunday evening, or wherever you are, whenever you're listening to this. Enjoy the rest of your time before you go to sleep. And tomorrow's a new day. And stay bright. That's all we can do. Love you guys. Thank you.